We have. I am with Bruce Babcock, and in the interest of all fairness, I have known Bruce since high school. So Bruce is a Santa Barbaran, has had a wonderful career in Hollywood as a TV and film composer. We're going to talk about all of that, but what we really want to deal with is really one of the, if I may say so, and you'll understand why everybody out there in Southern California, I'm proud as punch, but in fairness, I have to say I also helped in a small way to get some of this music recorded. This is an album of Bruce Babcock's concert music. The album is called Time Still, and it is put out on Navona Records. It's absolutely gorgeously packaged, beautiful program notes, and can be purchased. Hello, pay attention, everybody, at www.musicbybrucebabcock.com. How can it be any simpler than that? Bruce, it's always wonderful seeing you, because you've had a busy life down south. I've been in Seattle for some years, now back in Santa Barbara, but it's really a great fun to interview an old and very dear and precious friend, and I know that you have many fans in Los Angeles, major musicians in the Hollywood scene that have put this CD together for you. Let's just jump right to it. Just a little overview. Master's degree at California State University, Northridge, in which I also was there for a couple of years. Then I went on to Cal Arts. But we've been close for many years, and now, among other CDs, I mean, you have produced. How many CDs have you produced?
Well, this is the first one that's all mine. A couple of these pieces appear on the CDs of the other artists, and so they're used here again. But this is the first one that's entirely mine, and then my concert music. Yeah. So I'm an emerging composer. That's 64.
that's a beauty. And also we're gonna talk about all of your great friends and great musicians, studio musicians in Hollywood who have come together. But give us all a little overview of your career in Hollywood as a TV and film composer.
Okay, one quick correction.
Sure.
The one place that you can't buy the CD is at my website.
Oh,
you can get it at Amazon or iTunes. But not at the website itself.
Fair enough. Well, see to it. Get that fixed. No, just kidding. Okay. Give us this overview. So you get your master's degree at California State University, Northridge, which is a suburb of Los Angeles. What happens?
I actually taught community college for a couple of years, and then decided I really wanted to write music for television and film. So I went back to LA and began taking the steps to get there. And I did, after a period of orchestrating and ghostwriting for other people. Finally started to get some of my own shows. Did lots of television, and what I always tell people is I did a lot of geriatric murder mysteries. Murder, She Wrote, Matlock, Diagnosis, Murder. I don't know. Just coincidence that they're all murder mysteries, but they were lots of fun to do. And you can get away with a lot of music that people wouldn't normally find themselves listening to in television, and would run screaming from the concert hall if they heard it. But when somebody's being murdered on camera, you can do some interesting dissonant stuff. So it was great fun. Anyway, but starting in about 2001, I started to write concert music again after not writing it for about 25 years. One of my friends, Richard Todd, who heads at the time the USC horn program, asked me to write a piece for his horn ensemble. And so I wrote a piece for 12 French horns, which is not on the album, but that's the piece that got me started. He came up to me on a particularly turgid session that we were both on, working for other people, and I was really thrilled to have this chance to write something. So that got those creative juices going again, which led to all of this other music.
Yeah. Let's talk about the album. Let's go right ahead and talk about Time Still. You want to just kind of give us an overview of works on the CD and the
Right.
personalities that have helped put this together for you.
Uh, it's basically 11 musician friends plus a 100-voice choir. Um, the first piece, Irrational Exuberance, was a commission from Doug Masick, the alto saxophonist, who's been getting the biggest raves in my reviews so far.
That's a beautiful piece.
And Dave Spelt on cello, Louise Thomas piano. People ask about the title, and I say, well, it's my reaction to the Bush years, irrational exuberance. How can we endure these 8 years? So I'll write something upbeat. And then that led to the next piece. Juliana Gondek heard us rehearsing Irrational Exuberance in Schoenberg Hall, and she was doing a joint recital with Doug, and she asked me to write her a piece, but she wanted Doug included. So the Dorothy Parker songs came about, and Rakefet Haque was our pianist, and with Doug again, and we picked. I gave Juliana a list of about 15 to 20 songs, and then we've narrowed it down to these 4. And Doug sort of acts as the foil to Juliana. These are not the witty, sarcastic Dorothy Parker. These are the I've lost in love again Dorothy Parker. The next piece, Springscape. The WC Trio has a competition every year, a composition competition, and that particular year I won, and the award was to get your piece recorded, which they did. Marcia and Angela Wagon and Dave Walther, and they've been around, the trio has been around now for 25 years, which is hard to beat. All Into Me was inspired by Archbishop Desmond Tutu at All Saints Church. So that's how that came about, and they recorded it at one of their spring concerts with the combined choir, so it was 50 times 2, 100 voices. Metaphor 2 was commissioned by one Dan Keppel for the 2005 Santa Barbara Chamber Music Festival. It was actually one of 3 pieces, and I just picked this particular one to be on the album. And then the last 3 tracks are a cello sonata entitled Imagined Remembered, with Armin Katsajikian and Robert Thies on the piano, Armin on the cello, which also premiered at the 2005 Santa Barbara Chamber Music Festival. So Dan is responsible for 4 of these tracks, which represents about a third of the album.
I caught him at a good time, folks.
Well, I did have lots of time back then. It was very rewarding to write this music. It's now been done by 3 different cellists, and I'm hoping to make that more.
Yeah, if I may say so, it's a beautiful sonata, and your music is extremely accessible, really very, very appealing. As I will be putting up underneath this interview, the reviews you've received for this CD, it's tremendous praise for your music. Very accessible, gorgeous compositions, and obviously you know what you're doing. In fact, I'm reminded of a time when, for $10, I paid you to analyze the last movement of Mozart's Jupiter Symphony. And you did that nefarious, horrendous task for me for 10 stinking bucks. So let's talk about this. Why have I asked this before in the interview? But the point is, why do we continue, we who follow these esoteric, if you will, art forms, when you have seen the cash flow, I presume, with reasonable efficiency when you were writing TV and film music? What is it?
Well, concert music tends to be much more rewarding creatively and much less rewarding financially. But it's nice that all the television and film work now subsidizes this concert music, because it's, unless you're one of a handful of people, you can't really make a living doing this. So, probably the best part of it is, unlike television and film, where you're collaborating with a director or a producer, and in some ways it's not so much collaborating as being dictated to by said persons. And in the concert music world, you write what you want to write, and then it's played, and you're the arbiter, you're the final say. So that's much more rewarding, and the music is much more interesting for the players, more challenging, and it's a chance. I mean, I think any musician would say what they want to do is to sound great on their instrument or with their voice. That's what they've trained to do, is make beautiful sounds, and that's what I try to do. So much of contemporary music seems to me to be the opposite of that, which doesn't interest me a whole lot. So I did write a lot of that when I was in school, but I'm just finding I enjoy melody. I have this thing for unusual meters and alternating meters, which I attribute to the fact that Henry Brubeck's brother, Dave Brubeck's brother Henry, was my high school band director, which got me listening to Paul Desmond, and I played the alto sax. You'll notice there are two pieces on the disc that feature alto sax. So, have all of these influences that we collect over a lifetime and bring them together somehow.
And we were very lucky as kids in Santa Barbara, as you just said. Henry Brubeck's brother, Dave Brubeck, was the band director at San Marcos High School during our time. I used to be at Santa Barbara High and then get in my car and drive over to San Marcos High School in order just to sit in a band rehearsal with this superb musician, Henry Brubeck, and other things. That we've been very lucky in Santa Barbara, and then we have a major city just south of Santa Barbara, Los Angeles, and we don't need to go into it, we're at the end of the interview, but it's hard, it ain't easy to get into film and television music. It's hard, and you have succeeded very, very well in your career in Hollywood, and now now you're writing art music. How can it get any better for all of us?
Well, thanks. Yeah, it's been great to get a chance to do both things.
Yeah. Bruce, let's run it by very quickly. The new CD is titled Time Still, and you will see beneath this interview that JPEG of the cover. It's a gorgeous, beautiful cover, beautifully designed CD. It's put out by Navona Records, and now I know that you can't buy the CD at Bruce's website, but the place to start is Bruce's website, which is www.musicbybrucebabcock.com. Go have a look, or even just look him up. I'm sure you're going to find him. Bruce, it's been a great pleasure. It's taken us a few days to pull this off, but I'm thrilled to have a chance to talk with you, and pleased that I had. And I know all of these musicians who participated in this recording, and these are some of the best studio musicians in Los Angeles. I think all of us were very pleased to be of any help that we could have been to have the public hear your music. Okay.
Thanks.
All right. Many thanks. We'll
Thank you.
We'll see you again.
Okay.